My wife cheated. How I found out and moved on. I never thought it would happen to me. I guess no one ever does. My name is Jake, and I had been married to my wife, Emily, for 8 years. We had what I thought was a perfect life. We met in college, fell in love quickly, and got married just 2 years after we started dating. Emily was the love of my life, my best friend, and the person I thought I'd spend forever with. We both had good jobs, a lovely house in the suburbs, and two beautiful children, Lily, 6, and Max, 4. Our lives were busy but fulfilling, filled with family outings, soccer games, and weekend getaways. I was happy, content, and I believed Emily was too. However, over the past few months, I started noticing small changes in Emily's behavior. She was often distant, lost in thought, and glued to her phone. She used to tell me everything, but now she seemed secretive. When I asked her about it, she brushed it off, saying she was just stressed from work. I wanted to believe her, but a nagging feeling in my gut told me something was off. One night, while Emily was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at the screen and saw a message from a name I didn't recognize. Chris. The message read.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I miss you.
My heart dropped. Who was Chris? And why was he texting my wife like this? I decided to confront Emily. When she came out of the shower, I handed her the phone and asked, "Who's Chris?" Her face went pale, and she stammered.
He's just a friend from work.
"A friend from work who misses you and can't wait to see you?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger and hurt. Emily sat on the edge of the bed and sighed.
Jake, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. Chris and we've been seeing each other for a few months now.
I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My world was crumbling around me. Why, Emily? Why would you do this to us, to our family? Tears streamed down her face as she tried to explain.
I didn't plan for this, Jake. It just happened. I felt so alone, and Chris was there. He listened to me, made me feel special.
But what about us? What about our kids? I asked, my voice cracking.
I love you, Jake. I do. But I've been so unhappy, and I didn't know how to tell you. I'm sorry. She sobbed.
The days that followed were a blur of pain and confusion. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to kick her out and never look back. But another part of me wanted to fix things, for the sake of our children and the life we'd built together. We decided to try marriage counseling. Emily assured me that she had ended things with Chris and was committed to working on our marriage. I wanted to believe her, to believe that we could get past this, but the trust had been shattered. In counseling, we talked about our feelings, our fears, and what had led us to this point. I learned that Emily had been feeling neglected and unappreciated, while I had been oblivious, thinking that providing for the family was enough. It was painful to hear, but it was also a wake-up call. We both needed to change. For a while, things seemed to improve. We spent more time together as a family, went on dates, and rediscovered the things we loved about each other. But the shadow of her infidelity lingered. I found myself questioning everything she did, doubting her every word. The slightest hint of secrecy or distance sent me into a spiral of anxiety and suspicion. One night, about 6 months after we started counseling, I couldn't sleep. I went downstairs to get some water and saw a light on in Emily's home office. Curious, I peeked in and saw her on the computer, typing furiously. When she noticed me, she quickly closed the laptop, but it was too late. I had seen the open chat window. It was Chris. "Emily, what the hell is this?" I demanded. She looked at me with panic in her eyes.
Jake, please, it's not what you think. We were just talking.
"Just talking? After everything we've been through, you're still in contact with him?" I was furious.
I'm sorry, Jake. I don't know how to stop. I care about him.
She admitted, her voice trembling. I was done. I couldn't take it anymore. "Emily, you need to leave. I can't do this." I can't keep living like this, always wondering if you're lying to me. If you're going behind my back, you need to go." She left that night, and we decided to separate. The kids stayed with me most of the time, though we shared custody. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but I knew it was the right decision. Over the next year, I focused on rebuilding my life. I threw myself into my work, spent as much time as I could with Lily and Max, and leaned on friends and family for support. I started seeing a therapist to help me work through my feelings of betrayal and loss. Emily and I communicated only about the kids. She moved in with a friend and continued seeing Chris. I couldn't understand how she could choose him over our family, but I realized that her actions were a reflection of her own issues, not my worth. Slowly, I began to heal. I started dating again, cautiously at first, but eventually, I met someone who made me feel hopeful about the future. Her name was Sarah, and she was kind, understanding, and patient. She knew about my past and accepted me, baggage and all. As I stood in the backyard one sunny afternoon, watching Lily and Max play, I felt a sense of peace. My life had taken an unexpected and painful turn, but I had come out stronger. I had learned the importance of communication, trust, and self-worth. Emily and I eventually found a way to co-parent amicably. She and Chris stayed together, and while it still hurt to think about what had happened, I knew that I was better off without the constant fear and mistrust. Life goes on, and so did I. I realized that sometimes the worst things that happen to us can lead to the best opportunities for growth and change. I was grateful for the lessons I'd learned, and I looked forward to a brighter future with my kids and the people who truly cared about me. One day, about a year and a half after Emily had left, I received an unexpected call from her. She sounded distressed.
"Jake, I need to talk to you. Can we meet?"
Reluctantly, I agreed. We met at a quiet cafe in town. Emily looked worn out, a shadow of the woman I once knew.
"Jake, I've made a huge mistake. Chris and it's over. I realized too late that I was chasing an illusion. I hurt you, our kids, and I'm so sorry."
I listened quietly, not sure what to say. "Emily, I appreciate your apology, but a lot has changed. I've moved on, and so have you. We need to focus on what's best for Lily and Max." She nodded, tears in her eyes.
"I understand. I just wanted you to know that I regret everything. I hope we can at least be friends, for the kids' sake." Over time, we worked towards a respectful co-parenting relationship. It wasn't easy, but we managed. Emily found her own path, and I continued to build a new life with Sarah. The pain of the past never fully disappeared, but it lessened with each passing day. And as I stood in the backyard one evening, watching the sun set and hearing the laughter of my children, I realized that I had finally found my peace. The road had been long and filled with heartache, but I had emerged stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the future. Emily and I would always share a bond through our children, and while we could never go back to what we once had, we both learned valuable lessons. Sometimes, the most painful experiences teach us the most important truths about ourselves and what we truly need to be happy. And as I held Sarah's hand, feeling the warmth of her love and support, I knew that I had found the strength to move on and create a new, brighter chapter in my life.